Hi folks, it's Choco here. Today we're going to be making what is essentially a vegetarian sort of shepherd's pie. Just vegetables, no corn. There's quite a lot of chopping involved, so we're going to get started. So preheat. Oh my goodness, already! Preheat your saucepan with about one sort of tablespoon of or glug of oil. I'm using rapeseed oil, and I've got 2 chopped onions, just any old onions, should get a knife really. 2 chopped onions. Right, you're going to let them soften for about, well, however long it takes for them to soften, a few minutes. Whilst that's softening, what you're going to do is you're going to do a few things. You're going to put your kettle on to boil. You're going to prepare, as in chop and peel, this list. You want to chop and prepare 2 big carrots, like super big carrots, if not 4 small ones, 2 celery sticks, and what else have I got? And 2 cloves of garlic. And when they're softened, they're going to be going in there. Okay, so chop your veg now. Right, so they've softened for like a few minutes, like I don't know, probably 3-4 minutes. And now I'm going to add in the ingredients that I've chopped. So 2 cloves of garlic going in. Oh, we'll just chuck it all in. And 2 celery sticks. That's a nice sound. And I told you they were massive carrots. And 2 massive carrots. Right, we're just going to fry them off for a couple of minutes. And then we're going to add some stock and some other bits and pieces, but we'll talk about that because I'm trying to keep the recording time down. Right, so I've let those cook for a couple of minutes, and now we're going to add, I don't know if you can see, we're going to add our 900 millilitres of vegetable stock. So 900 millilitres of water with 2 vegetable stock cubes, and they're going to go straight in. See how they never, I've had them dissolving for ages, never works. We're going to add in our can of chopped tomatoes. That's 400 grams of chopped tomatoes. Going to bring this to the boil if we can, but I don't think it'll do it in my recording time. And we're going to add in 2 properly heaped teaspoons, 2 properly heaped soup spoons, or 1 good decent heaped tablespoon of tomato puree. Bearing in mind, like, just remember folks, this is just veg, so you want some real, I know it sounds awful that, doesn't it? But you do want some like nice flavours going into it. I know vegetables are supposed to taste lovely, but let's face it, sometimes they do need a little bit of help. Right, so what you're going to do is, we can use that, can't we? And get every little scrap off. So what you're going to do now is, we need to add the lentils. I am brilliant, like our main ingredient, and I nearly forgot it. Yeah, this is what I'm flavouring. So it doesn't look very appetising, but there are 125 grams of lentils, and most lentil packets say rinse them, so I'm rinsing these. You know, like most things kind of think, oh, it'll be okay, but actually I wonder why they tell you to rinse it. You know, like, what are they expecting you to find in it? Like, why would you rinse it? It's not like you've boiled it and there's loads of starch on. It's like, what do you think is in there? Like, am I going to find like a rat or a cockroach or something? But anyway, so the packet tells me to rinse. I am. And I don't know how many grams are left on there, but that'll have to do. I think we can live without a few lentils. They're all over my hob as well. Right, so getting back to the recipe. I told you it's quite relaxed cooking around here. Anyway, so we've got all our ingredients in there now. If you cook with salt and pepper, add them in now, but just a smidge. I'd advise you not to. Just learn to flavour it as you're about to eat it, or not flavour it, season it as you're about to eat it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring that to the boil. Okay, once it's boiling, we're going to turn the heat down. Okay, and we're going to simmer it for, it should be about 30 minutes, depending obviously what your simmering heat is. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's going to look like mush. That's what we want. So don't be alarmed if you return to it, it looked lovely like this, and then you've got like a mush. It's fine. Because we don't want it too sloppy and too liquidy, and we don't want no moisture in there at all, because that would be revolting. We want a mushy thing. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, but you don't need to see this. So don't forget, in the meantime, what you should be doing now is getting your mashed potato on the boil if you're doing it all in one go. So you want 900 grams of potatoes boiling and ready to mash. Okay, right, so I've just turned the heat off on this. It's taken quite a while actually. It's taken longer than 30 minutes. It's taken more like 40 minutes to 45 minutes, and it's because I put the lid on when I shouldn't have done, because that sort of keeps the steam in and keeps sort of like, I'm not a scientist, but it seems to keep the liquid in it. And also I didn't have my hob turned up high enough. I had it too low. It was like as low as it should go, and it should be on sort of like a high-low, sort of like medium high-low, if that makes sense. I've had to stir it as well as it's gone on, just so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. But as you can see, most of the liquid is now absorbed, and the lentils, most importantly, are nice and soft. You don't want hard lentils. That's not good. So for me, what I'm doing now is I'm just going to let that cool down, and then I'm going to put it in a casserole dish, which I'll be showing you in the next scene, and I'm just going to put it in the fridge overnight. If you were doing this meal all in one go, or this dish all in one go, what would be happening now is that your mashed potatoes would have been done actually, but you're going to have to let this cool down, okay, before you put your mashed potatoes on. So it is a question of timing on this. So go in 10 minutes before your mashed potatoes are due to be cooked and soft. You would preheat your oven. My oven is electric, so it's going to be preheated to 180 degrees electric. I've got no idea whatever that is in any other oven currency, but mine's a fan oven. It's electric. It's 180. Yeah, so that's it for now. I'll walk you through how you do the mashed potato. I'll be doing mine in the food processor. Right, so I've boiled the potatoes, just letting them cool, like drain a little bit, and in the meantime I've been heating 40 grams of butter or margarine with about 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk, and just kind of, yeah, just heating that through a little bit. That's good enough now. Now what you would do is that you would get your masher out and mash, and add the butter and the melted butter and the heated milk to your mashed potato and then whisk it together. Now, I cannot make mashed potato by myself. Okay, so I'm doing it in my food processor, and I'm just going to put that in there. I'm using the meringue whisk, I think it is, and then I'm just going to let the food processor do the work. Okay, so I'm going to pause now. Right, so my lovely food processor has done its job and mashed the potato. It's not perfect, but it's 1,000 times better than I could ever do by myself. So what I've also got here is pretty much grated, but not all the way. Tried to do my best. It's 140 grams of, I'm using cheddar, just smart price budget cheese, and that's going to be mixed in, and yeah, I am going to get the food processor to do it. That's going to be mixed in to the mashed potato. Like I said, if you were using sweet potato, you'd do the same thing, or if you're doing like a half and half, I would still do it in exactly the same way, because I don't know any other way to do it. So yeah, so we're just going to whisk that together, and again, you don't need to see that. Right, so this is the mixture that I made last night. If you're making it all in one go, this is the mixture that you've let cool down a little bit. It's gone into a casserole dish that I think is it's about the size of a ruler. It's about 12 inches, I think, by about sort of like 8 inches, something like that. It's a decent sized casserole dish. And all we're going to do is, with our sort of mash and cheese mixture, like I said, it's not going to be perfect. We're just going to see that going to be a chunk of cheese. We're just going to smear it over. Just to recap, when you've got your filling done, you're going to be starting to do your boiled potatoes. You can put your potatoes on to boil. That will give you time to allow the filling to cool, ready for your mashed potato to go on. About it depends how long your oven takes to preheat, but I'm guessing like 15 minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes. You're going to preheat your oven before the potatoes are done, and kind of like 5 minutes before that, you're going to be melting your margarine or butter with your milk and grating your cheese. So it's a little bit, for me, that's tricky. It's not really, is it? But yeah, I think it's because I'm not, although I multitask, I don't cook and multitask. I'm not a multitask cooker. But anyway, so that is going to go in your preheated oven. Your preheated oven, if you've got an electric oven, would be to 180. Let me just move that out of the way. And because I was going to burn it then. And I'll take that off. And it's going to go in there for somewhere between 25 to 35 minutes. Again, it just depends on how good your oven is. What you want it to be is like this filling, all sort of like bubbly, and this sort of like a nice sort of golden colour. So obviously like the cheese is going to make that a little bit golden. So yeah, just so that this has got a nice sort of cooked colour. Let me know if you like it, and like, I don't know why I've made this seem like it's such a hassle to make. It's really not, but I think it's just because I'm rushing because it's midweek. For me, like I say, it's a weekend dish, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's cooked. Okay. Right, so the pie has just literally just come out of the oven. So it's nicely brown, and I'm just gonna make it look really messy now. Oh, that looks good. I don't know how much you can see, but that looks really good. It is proper comfort food. You can look at that. That looks amazing, doesn't it? You can serve it with whatever veg you like, actually. I mean, it's got tons of veggie, and you could do, I would probably go like green veg, or baked beans. We might have, I've got a few baked beans, and so we might do it with baked beans. But it's really, really nice. It's very filling and very cheap, but that looks so good. Yeah, it does look really, really good, that. So I hope you enjoy it. Like I say, for me it's a bit of a big cook, if that makes sense. So I would probably, and as I'm sure I've said it 1,000 times, do it at the weekend. But it's, you know, it is really, really nice. Just as good as the meaty version. Okay, see you later. Bye.